Hey there, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Watch Soup Sunday. Thank you for joining us. Both Sanjay and I are in our separate locations here, separate than our normal locations. I'm usually on the porch, but tonight Mrs. Legs has commandeered that, and I am in the living room.
Nice.
Sanjay, how are you, my friend? Looks like you're in a different spot today.
Yeah. I took a break from the circus that I'm usually at. So, no, it's just I'm like 90 degrees from where I normally sit. So I
Gotcha.
think it's a better spot. Might be permanent because I have a lot more space and I can have the TV on and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
I like the look. You got the books there. You got the mic on the corner there. I feel like you're. This is like a welcoming conversation here. Like you're extremely relaxed.
yeah,
Um, it looks good. I like it. I like it. I feel like with the red curtain and the button down shirt, like you're very business. This is uh this is casual.
yeah.
Sanjay, let's get to know each other. Sanjay,
Well,
engineer
if
wannabe.
I have a button-down shirt, it's usually because I haven't had a chance to change.
Right from work. Yeah, I gotcha. What do you got on wrist today, man?
Yeah, today I have my Speedy. So
Excellent.
still wearing this guy, still
Yeah.
really loving it. Yeah, a lot of
So
fun.
has so you've had it now for what, a week and a half
Oh,
or 2 weeks?
3 weeks.
Oh,
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, so I assume that it's taking most or all of your wrist time, right?
most.
Or yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I, this week I actually got a Seiko, the SPB 213, one of the
right.
62 mass reissues. So I've been wearing that a lot this week, and I
Yeah.
kind of missed wearing this guy. So it's been on this weekend pretty much nonstop.
And it feels good on wrist. It's not heavy. It's you can wear it all day. No.
Oh yeah, easily. It's
Awesome.
great. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
I'm asking all these questions because I'm intrigued myself about.
yeah. I'm still a Grand Seiko guy. Still, my
Yeah.
favorite watch is still the SPG Y003.
Right.
But this is a close second. I've always loved the Speedmaster, and I've said this a couple of times, but it actually, I can actually pull it off this time.
Yeah.
So, and all like the little refinements. I don't know if you noticed, but in the previous generation, the bezel kind of jutted out a bit further,
Hmm.
and it caught shirt cuffs and stuff like that.
Okay.
This time, the bezel doesn't jut out. So
Nice.
that little, those little improvements
Yeah.
make it so good.
No, no, absolutely. I agree. It's just some of the little details sometimes really make a huge difference, especially when you add all those little details up and you see a lot of changes. It makes a
Yeah,
global change for the better. So no,
yeah,
I'm really happy for you.
yeah.
I got a new watch this week that came in, as you guys know, and I've been wearing it. It's my new evening watch, and that's the Kadoki 2. Um, Fantastic watch, man. I'm so happy. I'm as
Yeah.
ecstatic as you are with your Speedmaster. Oh, Wayne, get out of here, you bad cat. Get out of here, boy. Get out of here. Don't, he's trying to get into my Kadoki. And then there's the case back. Just a beautiful, beautiful watch.
Yeah.
Wears great.
It has kind of like the salmon dial kind of has a creamsicle kind of look. I don't know if it's the light, but
Yeah. No. I think you're onto something. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
there's something about it I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, it is a little bit creamsicle. Yeah.
yeah.
Little tones of there's some definitely brown tones in there. You know what I mean? And and
Hmm.
and I think so because I'm not one of these guys who knows, oh, that blue has a gray tone, like like my wife does. She's like, oh, there's grays in that blue. I'm like, what are you talking? No, but I mean, I could see where you come from with that, with the little creamsicle, but in a good way, a good pink salmon creamsicle.
Hmm.
But
It's
yeah,
really
man,
nice.
super super awesome, super happy, man.
Yeah.
I've been like on cloud nine for the last couple of days. So and it was crazy because um, Joe had sent it on Friday, next
Yeah.
day, and then that morning, I think it was that morning or later that or the Friday evening, I was getting like a text from UPS saying, "Well, it's going to come on Monday now." I'm like, "Oh no, no!" I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, I couldn't imagine myself going a couple more days without it. And then like something changed, like from like, oh yeah, it was Saturday morning when I first got that message, and then like at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, it said, "No, no, it's coming, coming today. Don't worry. My phone said, no, don't worry about it, Bobby Legs. It's coming. And it got here, and I couldn't imagine not having it today.
Mhm.
So I'm very very fortunate.
Yeah,
Um,
congrats.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Let's say hello to some of the people in the chat, and guys and gals, let us know what you're wearing. B Dev, what's up? How you doing? Megan, first. I don't know. B Dev looks like he might have just beat you, Megan, but thank you for uh, showing up. Appreciate it. Hey, there's Chris. What's up, peeps? Wearing my Seiko Cocktail Time maca. Loving
Ooh.
this little watch. Excellent. Megan's wearing the Rolex 1655. Very, very nice. Hey, Chaz, how you doing? AZ Clayton, Dan, hi, what's going on, sir? Oops, it just scrolled down on me. Crazy. Sorry, guys. Wilson, what is up? William Rizzo, how are you? Peter C, how you doing, sir? Underachieving watch collector wearing his Chub Mariner today. Okay. Uh, Peter's wearing the Casio. Um, let's see here. Who else? Wilson, I see again. Keith E, what's up, man? How you doing? And a bunch of other people. Oh, there's Justin. Hey, Justin, right behind him, Justin EDC. Uh, what's going on? And then there's Colin. He's he's there. And then there's our buddy Wolfgang, who is in our hemisphere this time around, so he's able to catch our show live.
Yeah.
JCV, what is up? Good morning to you. What's winding? What's Colin saying? The nickname for the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, so the little hockey talk going in there. Hey, Pete, early lunch break. How are you, sir? Thanks for joining us. Young XLNC is here. Thank you, sir. Hey, there's Joe. How you doing, man? Oh, man. Thank you, Bruce. And how are you? Thank you guys for the congratulations. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm happy. Roar the Tiger. And the Nefarian, what is up? Okay, so let's go and we'll talk about some of the comments that we got from our last show. And we only got one comment. That's okay. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll get more people to comment on our stuff here. Let me just pull it up. And watch, have a great stream, Bobby and Sanjay. I'm sure he would have put that in there. Hope to catch you the next one live. And I actually think he caught the Friday stream live. So thanks, guys. For coming on, and please leave a comment below. I know we have the chat here, but if you watch this after it's live, we'd love to hear what you have to say about the topics that we are discussing this evening. Now let's moving on to your segment, Sanjay, the reviews. So what reviews did you catch this week and you want to talk about?
Thanks, Bobby. So I've got 3 reviews. Just One More Watch. So Jody from Just One More Watch did a review of the Helios Fairwind.
Yeah.
He said some pretty interesting things, and that really got me perked up for trying out Helios. I mean, I've wanted to try out Helios for a while, but it's never kind of presented itself. The opportunity has never come. But I might be keep my ear to the ground a bit more now, considering what he was saying, because he was talking about how this has the aesthetic and the feel of a 60s watch, like a Diver 65 from Oris, but it gives you way more and way more for less money. And yeah, he talked about how it's impossible to buy a Helios because they sell out in minutes, and they go for exorbitant prices in the aftermarket. Is that right? Pre-owned market.
Pre-owned market, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, he called it the Rolex of micro brands as well. So kind of interesting take. The bracelet looked amazing. He even dialed in on the screws with this review. he talked about the screws being nice and thick and
Yeah.
sturdy screws. Oris actually uses screws on the Aquas, not on the Diver 65, and I hate those screws. They they douse them with Loctite, and
Hmm.
they're the tiniest screws, and they
Hmm.
strip so easily. So usually I'll throw it in like hot water, have a
Yeah.
torch ready just to unscrew the bracelet, because my first Aquas was not a pleasant experience, just like your U50 experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew you were gonna bring that up. That's okay.
Just messing with you. um, yeah, so just drilling through the reviews. The next one that I was going to mention was the Riviera. So Watchfinder did a Watchfinder did a review on the Baume et Mercier
Hmm.
Riviera. Practicing my French there. And yeah, it was an interesting history lesson. It was interesting that they got it so soon. I think it was a fresh, like hot off the presses kind of release. Um, not too surprising though. I think the same group owns both of them. So, um, but they said some semi critical things about it,
Hmm.
and I thought that kind of gives me some hope into thinking that there's a bit of separation between the brands and the journalism.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, maybe they did that on purpose just to do that, to give you
Hmm.
that feeling of give you that security blanket. But um, yeah, it was a great review, great shots, beautiful watch. First time I've seen it. I think Bruno Bidev, I think he got one. I think. But yeah, beautiful watch. I really love the dial, the wave motif on the dial. So a really interesting watch. And last but not least was Jenny L's review of all the Yacht-Masters. So really interesting review. I've never even considered the Yacht-Master before, and she kind of touched on that. It's a watch that Rolex themselves seems to hide in their website, and they hide it behind like the Yacht-Master 2,
Hmm.
which is not the most beautiful watch. But I was looking at the Yacht-Master 37 on her wrist, and my wrist is ever so slightly bigger than hers, and it was like you know love at first sight. I was thinking, wow, I always say I might pick up if I pick up a Rolex, it's going to be the Oyster Perpetual,
Hmm.
but that Yachtmaster looks like it would fit so well on my, twig like wrist, and I don't know, it might be an obsession that starts. So the 37 mil Yachtmaster I didn't know even existed, but yeah, now I do.
Awesome.
What do you think of the reviews?
Yeah. So let's work backwards.
Yeah,
The Yacht-Master. I always I've noticed a couple years ago, right, when Rolex prices in the secondary market were going up, that the Yachtmaster, the first one, was lagging behind. And I actually did a video on it a year ago about, like, is this the sleeper, right? I mean, like, I probably wasn't the first one that ever called it the sleeper, watching a Rolex lineup, a sports lineup. I've always had an interest in the Yachtmaster. I kind of like the blinginess. I've seen it in person, and the polished center links, that rhodium dial, bezel. It just sparkles, right? And it's basically a Submariner,
yeah,
except for it's got a lot of flash. And Jenny pointed out that it doesn't perform what its tasks are, right? I mean, it's not really a like a yacht watch, right? But that's what
no,
it's called, and maybe that's probably why some people are turned off by it. Whatever, I think it looks great. Um, and it's still lagging behind. I mean, I know it's maybe 7 or 10% over retail, as she noticed, as she mentioned, compared to some of the other sports models that are 20, 30, 40, 50 or more over retail, or selling over retail in the secondary market. But I love it, and I think there's a couple people in our chat that or who may not be there tonight. Jeff owns one. I love the blue dial one with that red seconds hand and the red Yachtmaster on it. I love that watch, and um, if it presented itself one day and I had the money, I would definitely. I have no qualms about picking up that being my first Rolex. No qualms about it.
Yeah.
Um, I like it.
Yeah.
I knew about the 37. I just figured the 37 was more of a unisex, type watch.
You can call it
Uh,
ladies' watch. I'm
to
not.
the ladies' watch. um, but yeah. I just think like pound for pound, that the Yacht-Master one is just a great buy, and like eventually like all Rolexes, it's cyclical. So this one it hasn't had its time yet. I feel like it's gonna have its time, where people are gonna look back and like, man, we could have had this for a pretty good deal, uh,
Mhm.
MSRP or slightly above
Yeah.
MSRP, right?
Yeah.
Um, Going to the Beaumessier. What was the name of the watch again?
Riviera.
The Riviera.
Can I also say I love that name? That name makes me so relaxed.
Oh, no, no, absolutely. I think the name is probably the greatest thing about the watch.
Yeah.
The second thing I like about it, is that they give you two options, right? So you can get like a lower price a model, and then the higher price model that has the Bowmatic, right? It's a
Yeah.
Bowmatic on the highest, and then the Sleet and the lowest.
Yeah.
So you have two different price points. Like the watchfinder was saying, it almost like allows you to have like an option to get a higher end version of it, which I think is smart by them. I think it's very smart. Having said that, I do like the higher end version more. I just don't know if $4,000 or whatever it is, if it's worth it. The one thing that did bother me about it is that if you notice that, I don't know if you did, but on the bezel, you have the screwed in bezel. um, they're not flush really, to the
Yeah.
bezel. They're kind of like angled in. So like, if I'm not a germaphobe or a clean freak, but I could imagine like stuff getting like built up in there, and it might get pretty
Yeah.
nasty. Anyway, I
Huh.
don't know if that's a real concern or not. I don't know. I just noticed that I was like, oh, they're not flush against it, or like, it's almost like they're kind of like angled in the screws. So I don't know. That's what I saw. Maybe I'm wrong, but I saw that. So that's what I thought I saw. So yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's just another integrated bracelet sports watch that's out. Um, I know it's came a year, 1973 was first year of it, so it's like one of the first ones. I get it, whatever, this and that. There's been others it's been done to death, and there's other brands who've done it a whole lot better. They're just, I feel like, just jumping and trying to save a brand that kind of needs some saving.
Hmm.
Has a lot of history, the brand, but I don't know. They really haven't been anywhere lately. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Helios, I've never had experience. I know there's a lot of people who love Helios, that talk great things about it. The watch definitely looks super interesting. I feel like you do get a lot of bang for your buck there. I've never had an experience with it. Never reviewed one. Just heard from reputation. Looks like a nice watch. I just feel like I've seen that watch a lot, not the Helios, but that style. So I'm kind of getting a
Mhm.
little numb to that, just as like I'm getting numb to about the integrated bracelet look.
So like the '60s skin diver kind of style.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that a lot lately.
Yeah.
But okay. I mean, like, it's a micro. It's a very successful micro, and props to them. They have a fan base. They have a following, and good for them. I would love to review one day. Maybe I would change my mind. But
Yeah.
you know, yeah. Um, Watch once over. The Fairwind is an awesome watch. I have a friend that owns one. I'm going to get one soon, and that blue dial is stunning in the sun. It's a must see in person. Well, there you go. Like, maybe, like, if once I see it in person, I will say to myself, I must have that.
Yeah.
Um, Oil money, what up? Watch people wearing the brigade tourbillon like a goddamn Ponzi scheme architect. Good for you, man. Good for you, oil money. I don't know what that last part means. I mean, I know what the words mean, but Nefarian, my Aquas lost a screw that connects the bracelet to the case. I was so lucky to find it. I think that's what Nefarian was saying there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, No, don't have a okay.
Oh, okay.
But somebody on the stream on the stream Friday night was had put
Yeah.
it up. I thought it was BDev that maybe somebody was asking us I just couldn't get to it at the time. Oh, Hale's never seen him. Never on Hedonk. I think okay. Uh, agree about James Stacy. I think he is true Hale's fanboy. Vancouver strong. Okay. I think I missed that one there. Jenny makes everything look good. Okay. Sanjay with a yachty. Does he need to get into another car accident? Bi-directional bezel too, right? On
Yes.
the Yacht-Master, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um, hey Rasan, how you doing? Yeah, Sanjay needs a Yacht-Master for all the boating opportunities in Oshawa.
Yeah.
Bobby's corrected. It's a sleeper and is basically a sub, but jazzed up on the rest. Yeah, I do like that. I do. Like I said, I've seen. The only thing that would probably I would hesitate is the is because it has the polished center links, but it fits that watch because of the bling. But whatever. It's so what if the watch scratches? So what? Who cares, right? We wear our
Yeah.
watches. Um, it does stand out. It would stand out in the crowd of subs. You're right. Wolfgang, the Yacht-Master is awesome. Wife has a 40 millimeter. Oh, awesome. Very
Oh,
good.
nice.
I did have the Red October, the Long Island watch version. I had the he had Mark had come out with one without the red seconds hand.
Okay.
The ISL 18, I think it was. So it was the Yacht-Master look like, and I was like floored by that watch, and I had it, I loved it, I sold it, and then he came out with the one same watch but just with a red seconds hand, and I just didn't feel it. I just didn't feel it.
Huh.
I don't know why, but I had some other watches in between then that really knocked my socks off. So I was like, I was impressed by some other things. So maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind to get into it. But yeah, that's right, Wilson. I had that one and the original one.
Hmm.
Yeah, the rhodium dial is very good looking for sure. Let me just catch up. I saw Jeff. Yep. This is just so Jeff has one. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm glad he has it. I think he got the gray dial version. Let's see here. So, Sanjay, if the boat hits your car, you know what to do.
There's a
Okay.
lot of boats going around here.
Yeah. Is the blingy Yacht-Master the true 21st century Rolex, while the worker sub is the 20th century? I hope not. Not until I buy one, then it can be. I don't want the prices on it shooting up. Um, but I love it. So moving on. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. We'll get into the videos, and the first one up is the Peter Costa, an expensive lesson buying a pre-owned Omega Seamaster. You selected this video, Sanjay. Just give us a brief heads up, and let's get into it.
Yeah. So this was a video. It's more of an audio, really, because
Yeah.
there wasn't anything to see. It was more of a listen, because not even the watch was on the screen. There was a Seiko on screen, which I found pretty
Right.
funny. Um, he kind of explains why there's a Seiko on the screen, and then he goes into the story, which was where he saw an Omega Seamaster professional come up for sale, and it was at a really good price. I think a 50%
Mm-hmm.
retail, and he thought, well, yeah, I got to go get that. So he there were some alarm bells that were going off, and because there was no papers, but there was a box, and he went and he spoke to the guy. They got together. Instantly, within 10 seconds, he said he was able to tell that it was not a real legit watch based on crown feel, and there were some telltale signs. He spoke to the guy, said, this is a fake one, right? And he said, the color drained from his face. He looked like a dead man walking, or
Hmm.
whatever
Yeah.
the phrase he used. But apparently he had bought the watch in a tourist location in a dodgy shop, and he spent $6,000. I'm guessing Australian dollars, which really isn't a good deal.
Yeah.
Even being in if you consider the fact that you're in a dodgy shop, that's really not a good deal. Because the watch is 7,000 retail in Canadian,
Hmm.
which is Australian Canadians kind of on par. So yeah, that's really not a good deal. And yeah, he basically lost all that money, and both of them were pretty shell shocked about it. And that was the video. Basically a warning to everyone saying, do your research, know what you're buying. When you get there, inspect it, and don't get had. Or the cycle would have continued. He would have bought this, and maybe he would have been the one to find out that it was a fake.
Yeah.
So yeah, what did you think?
Yeah. It's scary, and it just makes it um, so buying from an AD, right?
Yeah,
Going secondary market or pre-owned market, you get a huge break, and I think we're always looking for the best deal, but sometimes getting the best deal where this first individual thought he was getting, even though we know it wasn't, maybe he was just a newbie to the collecting, is not always what it's cracked up to be. Like sometimes there's validity getting something from an AD and just trying to negotiate a price. You may not get the best deal in the world, but there is a sense of security, and sometimes that's worth more. It's just like buying a watch from a good friend of yours. You know where it's been. You have that trust factor there, and you may sell to somebody for a little bit less than maybe you normally would, or you maybe just buy it from that person because you have a trust there. So I don't know. It makes the case, man. It's like, yeah, just be careful. If you're not buying it from an AD, man, you really, really got to be careful about these things. Look, there's some validity buying watches pre-owned on the
yeah,
secondary market. There's some watches where you can get away with that, but there's so many fakes now. It's not just Rolexes getting faked. It's Seikos, it's Omegas, it's almost everything seems to at some point. Oruses are getting faked, right? You
yeah,
know, so man, it's so scary, man. It shouldn't be this nerve-wracking buying a watch, right? Right.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure the ads are liking it because it gives them a bit more job security. But yeah, it's scary how many fakes there are. Fakes of F91Ws.
yeah,
For Yeah, it makes no sense, but it's out there.
yeah,
um
yeah,
so I mean, the fact that Casio has to put in a special program to show that it's a genuine article, it just boggles the mind. It's a
I know,
$15 watch.
I know, I know. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I like hearing these. Well, I don't mean to say I like hearing this, or that means I like hearing people go through some sort of pain, financial um, duress or stress. I don't want to see that, but I need to be reminded of these stories, right? Because I have a short-term memory problem. I'll forget what happened yesterday, right? And I'm thinking like, I'm finding a good deal. I'm a savvy buyer. I'm doing all my research, my due diligence. This person checks out because they have 100 positive comments. Still doesn't matter, right? It still doesn't matter. Buy the seller, right? I mean, I think Peter said
Mhm.
that in his
Yep.
video too, and we all talk about that. But sometimes, you get. I've gotten blinded by like wanting something so bad that, um, you know, uh, I forget, my rules, and I've been lucky. I've been lucky so far. I haven't been that I know of anyway. I haven't been had. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, that's why. Like I have somebody that who's a friend of mine who I've known for a really long time, who's also a watch collector. And most times when I remember, right, to talk to him, and I have him like help check things out for me as well. Like I bounce ideas off of him, and I ask him what he thinks and like what should I do. He's my watch consigliere, and that's been helpful for me too when buying a watches. I mean, it helps me. He helps me from myself, but he also helps me from making a good or bad decision on based on a seller and whatnot. So, man, what a rough story.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chat has to say. Um, this is why I just trust Flippers Paradise on our. Yeah, I mean, Random Rob has his Discord community, which I'm a part of as well. And he does have a section for flippers. It's called Flippers Paradise, and people just sell watches. And that community, everybody trusts each other. I've sold watches there. I've bought watches there. I've sold knives there. I bought knives there. And I've never really had to think about whether I was getting scammed or not, because there's a level of trust in that community.
Yeah.
When they start making fake or Aquas, look out for sure. Yeah, right. I mean, it's just crazy. Let's see here. Anybody else have any comments? Now even Casio Oaks are being fake, which is crazy, man. Like like what are the margins? I mean, it's I guess that's what happens. The guy buys a used S&P 300 from a dodgy Bangkok watch reseller with zero recourse for Omega AD money. Fools deserve to be parted from their money. Well, I hear you, oil money. I still got compassion for the guy. You know what I mean? Like he probably was really excited, and maybe he didn't know much. Maybe he was just too trusting. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, Big Wrist, what's up, man? Big Wrist just celebrated a year of making videos on YouTube. If you guys,
Congrats.
if you guys have a chance, go give him a sub. Wolfgang agrees with oil money. Even Archie Luxury is a fake. Caliber, I got burned on 2 Fortis watches from the UK on eBay. Will never buy another watch from UK on eBay. Have you bought watches, Sanjay, from eBay?
No. I've never bought anything, any watch of significance online. The only thing was like a Seiko limited edition Crown Presage. It's like $700 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing of significance. I don't think I could do it. But
Yeah, I've never bought a watch on eBay. I've been tempted. I'm just some of the. I mean, you can follow through. Like I know that I've seen, and I don't know if they do now, but Watchbox used to sell through eBay. You can figure that out pretty quickly. And so looking at the seller records and following what they may be if they have a website. So I guess, but I've never bought a watch like I said on eBay. I just kind of stay there. I use it as a reference point sometimes, but too scared to do something like that. Don't always try to squeeze the last dollar out on a deal. Paying a few dollars more is so much better than getting ripped off. Absolutely, Kevin. I totally agree. I think Sanjay would agree with that as well. Megan's like, I prefer to buy from ADs or even buy my G-Shocks from Casio to ensure that I'm getting a real deal. Yeah, I mean, I can't fault that logic, I mean, we all like to get a good deal sometimes. I bought a couple of my Zins from like Watch You Seek, and fortunately been lucky. You know what I mean? But it's nerve-wracking, man. And don't forget about don't forget about the Franken watches out there, especially right with vintage. That could happen a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. And Megan saying, I don't assume that we can assume that everyone knows what they're doing when buying a watch. I agree. Sometimes people are still learning, and it's the first time. So yes, compassion. Yeah. I mean, it's just we all were at that point, and most of us, I think, here have been lucky. Peter saying, I buy from all over, but I'm a very slow buyer. I'll watch for months, watching the seller, etc. Of course, very good. Yeah, stalking the seller. Do what you got to do, man. So absolutely, I'm with you there, Pete. Okay, so let's jump to Jeff McMahon, what is it like to test drive a friend's ultimate timepiece watches? And so one thing, there's a lot of things here in this video that I picked up on from Jeff, and I just like how I say that I like how he is tormented by the watch collection habit that he has. Because I also have that torment. It also torments me, right? And so we're not a happy people, you know. Um, but one thing that he said, and this is so true, because I just got this Kadoki yesterday, and he mentioned something about the hedonic treadmill. I think I'm saying it
Yeah.
correctly. And
Yeah.
it's anything that gives you pleasure diminishes over time. That we have these like pleasure sensors, right?
Mhm.
Whatever gives us pleasures at the moment will diminish over time. And already I'm thinking about the next one. We were talking, me and you, pre-game, that I'm already looking, at a possibly as a Glazito Original 70s, down the road, soon, down the road soon. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense, but yeah, man. I mean, why is that? Um, did anything stick out with you on this
Yeah.
video?
This was a fascinating video, as is usually with Jeff McMahon. But I really like that hedonic treadmill um, philosophy as well, and it kind of made me take a look at myself, because I like to tell people on my channel, when I sign out, I say, you're valuable. Time is short, and that time is short thing, I think, leads, like, there's a pendulum that swings with me, and I think it swung, or it has swung, to the point of leading to hedonism. Like, life is short, time is short, have as much fun as you can, and that's not good. And when he said the hedonic treadmill, I was like, whoa, am I on this treadmill?
Yeah.
Because so yeah, it made me kind of, self what do you call it, like self I can't get the word, but
Aware? Were you?
yeah, retrospect, like look
Yeah,
into myself, kind of.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah. So that was one big thing. And it was funny that he was thinking about his YouTube channel, that if he were to sell everything and get the two watches, I think he's looking at the Seiko Uemura, and was it a Planned Ocean? No, it was a
no,
Tudor
no,
Tudor
Tudor
Black Bay
Black
Steel.
Bay. Yeah, steel or
Steel.
or
Yeah,
black dial, black bezel. Yeah,
right. Um, he was thinking about what kind of content would do on his channel,
but
and
he was talking about the freedom though of just the two watches, right? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
just having not having to worry about like which watch he has to pick today.
right. The escape from the addiction,
Yeah.
the relief. But then he talked about that treadmill, and the fact that he probably would start to rebuy mid-tier watches again. Um, and he mentioned that he found a newfound respect for his mid-tier watches, because
Hmm.
it gets like 80% there,
Yeah.
for 800 bucks.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know what will happen. I don't think he'll purchase collection for just two. Um,
No,
but
no. I think he likes the idea of doing that. He's tormented. He goes through these phases where he sells a lot of his watches. He sends it to random Rob, and Rob sells it for him, and then he starts buying some more watches. At one point, like like in his early collecting, he had like over 100 Invictas. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way, even though he might be moving up in luxury tier ladders, there's no way he's going to ever go down to two. Um, but another thing that so these two watches were lent in by a friend of his, and which caused him a lot of like thinking about like what kind of watches he likes, and where he move up in luxury tier, let's call it, for lack of a better term. But not this wasn't addressed necessarily in his video, but I thought about it. I've had watches lent in, right? For the channel, and I assume you've had watches lent in too. Have you ever been? Have you ever had a watch lent in and you were like, man, I need this watch.
Oh
I
yeah.
have to get this watch. Yeah,
Yeah, multiple
yeah,
watches. Yeah.
yeah. Were you like completely floored by this watch, or was it just like it's so freaking cool, I just got to get it, that kind of thing, or
I
did it make you rethink what you liked?
I would say I think the closest was the Longines Spirit, the Longines Spirit. Uh, I was not expecting it, and this was back when I was working with an AD, and the AD called me and said, "Hey, the spirits just came in. Come get it." So I drove over, I grabbed them, and I came home, and I opened the box up with my wife because we were kind of excited to see them, and yeah, I saw the watch and I just gasped
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it makes a really good first impression because
it
of
does.
the applied
Yeah,
indices, the anti-reflective coating on both
yeah,
sides. The crystal looks like it's not there. It didn't work on my wrist, thankfully, which is why I didn't get it. But
yeah,
I was like ready to sell stuff to
yeah,
make the money to get it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's one example where it did happen.
I've had two watches that came in this year for review. Both watches I had thought about getting, so I was halfway there. But
Yeah,
then when I got them in, I was like, okay, the one, the Zin 857, I ended up buying it from, from the person who sent it in. And
yeah.
then when Chaz sent me the 903, I mean, I'd already been thinking about the 903 for a while now, and it just like that was the impotence for me getting the watch. Like as soon as I was like, yeah, boom, I gotta get it. And then somebody reached out to me like the next day, do you want it? I'm like, oh, yeah, of course I want it. Of course I want it.
Accelerant for the fire.
Yeah. Um, Kevin S. JM seems like a good guy, but his tortured watch collector stick is getting a bit stale. I hear you. I hear you. I still, I still love it though. Uh, that's Peter saying, what would you say when a friend buys their dream and you think it's the most hideous thing you've seen? That rhymes, Pete. I don't know if you meant to do that. Um, I don't know. Let's think about that. And let's keep on going down the scroll. Scroll down the. I think I wouldn't say anything. I would say, good for you, man. If you like it, good for you. Um, well, money, the hedonic treadmill ran out on the wife many, many moons ago. All right, man. I think Jeff should keep his Marine Master and sell everything else and buy one nice piece. Keep the Marine Master and the beater. Yeah, but Chris, I don't think he's gonna ever stick down to two pieces, man. Um, can you imagine a podcast with Jeff and Archie? Man, that would be certainly interesting. It would be a virtual sumo wrestling match. I don't know
I could
why I went
see
there. I don't know why I went.
I could see Jeff McMahon just walking out.
Yeah, yeah, or just like Jeff McMahon fist reaching over the Pacific Ocean and just landing on Archie's face. Um, Pete, if we all like the same thing, the world would be boring. I would congratulate them for picking up something they actually like and not follow the trends. All right. Agree with Watch Sound. I bet he gets that Tudor Black Base. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to get that. But I just don't see him going down to two watches. Longines just released a Green Dial Spirit. It's a great watch. Just don't enjoy the 21 millimeter lug opening. Why is that, everyday watch guy? Is it because of 21 millimeter strap options? Because they seem to be a lot these days. They're a lot easier to get than a few years ago, in my opinion. I've had a couple watches with 21 millimeter watch with lug widths, and I've been able to find straps pretty easily and a good selection. Um,
I could answer for him because we
yeah.
kind of spoken about it. he the It doesn't look as good as say the 42 millimeter one. The dial, like the proportion to the watch head to the lugs. I think he's mentioned that 40 down to 21 versus 42 down to 22 seemed a lot better with
Mhm.
the bigger spirit models. So
Pete saying, well, what if you were reviewing it on your channel? So I had a buddy of mine who this wasn't like his like I wouldn't call it his grail piece at all. I mean, he was just really interested. It was a Nixon watch. It's some micro brand, and it was like a 60 millimeter diameter case diameter quartz chrono that was like it was like the size of a Big Mac, and it was just huge. And I was honest on the review. You know what I mean? And I told him like, I'm going to be honest about how I feel about the watch. Um, and he was like, yeah, I don't care. He's like, fine. Um, but you can be honest. See, the thing is, I think it's how you deliver it, right? Um, you can be honest and be compassionate and say it in a positive way, and not have to be a dick about it, right? So, and to each his own, man. Like my buddy might think this is a piece of crap. You know what I mean? So, you know, um, I like Clayton's response. That was a good one, Clayton. I think Jeff would beat up Arch. Yeah, no, I mean, we can go down this rabbit hole of YouTube content creators, death matches, if you guys want. But yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt that Jeff. I mean, do we have anybody out there who thinks that Jeff would not be able to beat up Archie Luxury? I don't know. I don't know.
He's a tank.
Yeah, yeah, he is, man. I heard the Nixon watches have built in tape recorder. That's the watch. Dibs on the Kadoki. Uh, okay. Boy, money, you got this thing for pilot watches. What is your ultimate pilot watch grail? Do you have a pilot watch grail? I mean, is it Sanjay? I'll throw this at you as well. Is there? Are you into pilot watches? Do you have any pilot watches?
Does this count? It's not really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a moon watch.
It's a racing watch.
Wait, oh, it's a racing watch. Racing watch. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, my bad.
I don't know. I'd like to own an IWC, maybe one of the chronographs at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a pilot watch grail.
I don't think I have a pilot watch grail either. I just yeah. I mean, I guess I don't think of the 903 as a pilot watch, but I know it is. And a lot of the Zins that I've had are I guess technically pilot watches. I do like that. I've really come around a whole lot on that new IWC small big pilot.
Yeah.
I really really like that one, man. But wow. Okay, so let's get moving. We've been feel like yeah, okay. So David Khalil, fallout with a customer over a new Rolex Sky Dweller. You selected this one, Sanjay. Let us know what is this one's about.
Yeah. Sorry for picking David Khalil again, but
no worries.
It was it was an interesting story. But the story goes that there was a customer. He came in and he bought an Rolex Sky Dweller, I think, and he was happy with it. He was overjoyed with it. Left the store, had it for over 2 weeks, is what he says, and he wanted to return it. This was an unworn model from David Khalil, and he was talking about why he hates selling unworn models rather than just pre-owned secondhand watches. And so the guy wanted to return it, and David said, hey, it was an unworn watch. We've got to kind of meet in the middle somewhere. I'm gonna, and what's the damage like on the watch? The guy said it's basically the same. And David Khalil said, I'm gonna have to say, like, I can't sell it as an unworn watch, so I'm gonna have to say 10% loss for you. I'm sorry. And the guy said, okay. And I think he sent the watch. I don't think there was another appointment. No, I think there was another appointment because there was like a verbal altercation. But when they did meet, the watch was just trashed. It looked like it's been worn for 4 years. He said, not 2 weeks. And the guys, David said, hey, I'm gonna have to say 20%. I can't just take this back. It was an unworn watch, and there was some argument about that too. You know how it was pre-owned, but it was unworn, and the guy said no, it says just pre-owned. But anyway, it turned out, the guy started to call him like derogatory terms,
Hmm.
and David just said, I'm not gonna deal with you. This is what I can do for you. If you don't like it, and there's the door. And yeah, I thought that was a really interesting insight. I think a lot of ADs probably go through this because ADs only sell unworn watches, and if a watch has to come back on a return, they're gonna have to deal with this because if they have like a 1 week return policy, they're gonna have to deal with scratched watch cases, watch heads, bracelets, and it was really interesting, something I had never thought of, about a pre-owned watch dealer selling an unworn watch and then having to take a return on that. It kind of made me think of Chris. What was it, Chris? One of the videos we discussed last time, where Watch Chris, yeah, Watch Chris.
Yeah.
He had to take a return on a watch that was
Mhm.
just trashed.
Yep.
And yeah, I cannot I cannot be a pre-owned watch dealer. Just solidified it for me.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, I so I don't know. This is like a couple times that we've seen David Khalil videos, and man, there's just, I hate to be cynical, but I mean, I feel like
yeah,
there's something missing in this story. Um, you know, uh, uh, there's always two sides, whatnot.
yes, yeah.
He's got to, you got to picture your inventory. You got to take pictures of your inventory, man. I mean, like he said, he had no pictures of it before, so he couldn't show us what it looked like before he sold it.
Oh, I
Um,
missed that part.
oh yeah, yeah, and so like, okay, so you're telling us your side of the story here. I'm supposed to feel bad for you. But if you're gonna put that out there, man, show me some pictures. Show me what it looked like before. And yeah, I mean, look. I mean, if I take it on his word about the story, yeah, I mean, it sucks, and there's no reason why anybody should take any kind of abuse in a negotiation. And it sounds like he was portraying that he was, trying to be fair, and then this guy switched all the parameters on him, and then it came back with a watch that was heavily scuffed in the bracelet that looked 4 years old, as he said.
Hmm.
Um, it's brutal. Yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, sales is a tough racket, man. It really is. I did real estate, and that was the hardest job I've ever done. I did real estate for a few years, and that is brutal. Sales is brutal, and no, sir, give me a 9 to 5. I'll be happy with that, all day long. I mean, I know your earning potential in sales is through the roof potentially compared to a salary if you get a salary, but I don't know. I'll take the security and not have to deal with the abuse. I mean, at least I can go to HR if somebody's abusing me. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I don't know. I do feel some compassion for somebody who's in this business though, because you got to take that kind of abuse. I mean, but then some people really like what they're doing. Um, yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal, man.
Yeah,
I mean, when money's involved, man, people get really wacky. Um, so
yeah,
let's see what the
yeah,
Crowd has to say. He may be vague to avoid legal ramifications. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, probably. I mean, if you had pitch, but just take a picture of the watch before you sell it, and have that. I mean, I don't think that's illegal to. I don't think he'd be breaking any kind of like potential ongoing, um, you know, dispute. Um, Roman and his crew film and photograph everything as it comes in. Um, yeah, Watch Collectors has a pretty good reputation, don't they? Uh, Unworn is a nonsense designation in the watch reselling business unless that Rolex has fully stickered in a coffin. It was not unworn. Chronometer 24 is the biggest offender of this. Yeah, I see a lot of like unworn um, descriptions on Chrono 24. I just assume that it's pre-owned, right? And
yeah.
I think that's just as the buyer, it's just safest for me to look at it that way and then negotiate accordingly. You know. Um, Okay, so since we're running out of time, let's jump on to the next topic and a feel good. The town watch Josh giving his friend Average Joe a gift. Now, Average Joe was is getting married, or did he get married? I don't know when this. I know the video just came out, but I don't know in time relation where it is. And he gave Joe a present, and it was a Hamilton pocket watch, and Joe seemed to be very very excited. He loves. He opened up the case back and saw the movement and whatnot. And so, very, very feel good. I don't know if these guys knew each other before their YouTube channels or they became friends because of the watch community. But I think that was an awesome, awesome little video. Positive video. Have you ever given somebody a watch? I'm not talking necessarily about your wife or girlfriend or whatever. I'm just, for a special occasion, have you ever bought anyone a watch, Sanjay?
I'm already sensing the incoming comment from Oil Money. He's going to ask me to give my best friend. um, but I don't remember. I don't think so. I have a watch that I need to give someone. So it hasn't happened yet because of the pandemic. But yeah, because I haven't seen that person. But no, I don't think I have given anyone a watch. Yeah, not. I mean, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay,
But
yeah,
I was going to ask you, have you ever gifted a watch or?
yeah. I had to think about it, and I'm like, I have. Not counting like the two girlfriends that I gave them the same Jaguar watch. Um, but no, actually, when I got married, my first marriage, my good friend, he was my best man, and I gave him. I actually bought him a Baume Mercier, a Hampton watch. It was like a rectangle. I thought at the time, this is like over 14, 15 years ago. I thought it was a cool looking watch.
Yeah.
And he really he still actually has it. He actually brought it the other day to see if I can. He put a little scratch on the sapphire crystal, see if I could polish it out, and I couldn't. Um, but yeah, I have, and he was kind of sort of. I think he was kind of sort of into watches at the time. Maybe not. Maybe I was more into watches. I always think like, since I'm into watches, everybody else has to be into
Yeah.
watches. Speaking of speaking of that, to go on a little tangent, a little funny story. I was in the car dealership on Friday getting my car serviced, and when I was done, I was going to pay the guy who was helping me. He had a Tag Heuer Aqua Racer on,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, hey man, that's a nice tag. And he's like, thanks. He's like, I guess you're into watches. And I'm like, yeah, I got a collection. I got a YouTube channel. And then he was kind of looking. I had the Zin U50 on. He's like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's a Zin. It's a German watch. And then he was like, oh, okay. And then that was it. Like no follow up. Like no, like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or, I never heard of them. Or, oh man, that's a Zin. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, that okay.
I think Dan, that something like that happened to Dan too. Yeah, I think it was like a coworker. He said, "Hey, that's a really cool watch," and the guy looked at him and walked away or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happened to me yet, but I think I think only one person ever in my life has ever complimented a watch on my wrist. So
Yeah. Was that person non watch nerd? Was
yes,
it?
yeah,
Yeah. What
yeah. It
was the
was
watch?
some. It was my Oris Diver 65 from
Hmm.
like 2 years ago. I was just at a mall and it was one of the cashiers said, "Hey, that's a really cool watch." And I said, "Yeah, man. Are you into watches?" And he said, "No." And then that was it.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's awesome. Uh, the Farron, I'll give a watch to an employee when they're late. Hey, Azaz given watches to his nephew. Um, Megan, we gift watches all the time in our business, and our team get annual present of a watch that gives us a team a Hawaii horology piece every year as well. Our family do. I think that's birthdays and Christmas. That's awesome, Megan. I want to work for you and your dad. I want to get
Yeah.
some.
I'll email my resume and
Yeah,
CV
yeah,
over.
yeah. Let me know what your fax number is. I'll fax it up. Oh man, does anybody fax? Does anybody use faxes anymore?
I do
Um,
actually. But
what?
I do. um, the farming industry, or agriculture, is quite agricultural. So I actually have to send invoices and stuff when I'm dealing with that. I actually have to fax them over because everyone's so like in the 80s still.
But
No emails.
they use the. So they. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to respond. I mean, like, okay. All right. Let's move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hear the fax noises every day.
Yeah. I feel like I've been given the standing 8 count. Like somebody like just hit me with a punch, and I'm just like kind of like, okay, all right, yeah, yep. Harkens back to a separate time. That's right, Chad. Harkens. It definitely harkens.
Yeah.
Uh, Way's saying the only compliments he's ever gotten are from salespeople at watch shops, flattering customer, of course.
Yeah.
Um, all right, I gotta watch some of these comments with the farm related. Sandra, sorry. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
I once had a random woman on a bus stop tap me on the shoulder and give me a nice vintage King Seiko as I was leaving. Wow,
Wow.
wow. I mean, I assume you were wearing a vintage King Seiko, but that's somebody in the know has to. That's impressive. Um, Faxes don't get lost as nearly as you. Well, I mean, Richard. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Um, I think the fax comment broke up. Yeah, it totally did. Uh, what? Sanjay walks over to the fax machine with his popped collar and fanny pack.
Chewing
Mike has
bubble gum.
worked. Mike has worked on a farm for 5 years. He can confirm the facts.
There you go.
Oh, that is great. That is. I can't. I gotta have to go. I have to take. I probably have to take a few hours tonight to remember the last time I used a fax machine, because like everything is like scan, everything is like DocuSign now, and it's
Yeah.
been that way for a really long time. Um, my wife actually taught me how to on the iPhone how to scan a document. If you go to the notes and you hit
Yeah.
scan, and I'm like, I was totally blown away by that, and hopefully, somebody in the chat learned that they could do that too. Um, Life in the farm is kind of laid back. Yeah, I'm sure. You know, um, I picture sitting on a rocking chair drinking iced tea or lemonade and watching the corn grow. I don't know why I think about that when I think about farms, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a whole. I know my grandfather had a farm, and it's a lot of hard work though. No fax machine, but a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Anyone want just the fax emoji? Okay, Megan, you're the best with the emojis, man. You are totally. You got that. Your emoji game is strong for sure. Um, Playing Michael Jackson's Thriller in the background, yeah. One reason for fax is internet is crap in rural Ontario. It's also
It is
crap
bad.
in the suburbs, right? I mean, because
Marcus.
Marcus has a hard time.
I don't understand Marcus, because he said he was using his phone as a hotspot too,
Yeah,
and it's still bad.
he must
It's
be he must be in a bunker when he
yeah.
does these videos. Everyday Watch Guy gifted his Seiko Sarb 33 and has a Sarb 30. That's awesome, man. Give his brother. That's good. That's cool, man.
Mhm.
All the 80 drinking a Zima and sending. Do you know what Zima is?
I do not know what Zima
Ooh,
is.
it
What's
was like
Zima?
a. It came out in I thought it came out in the 90s, but it may have came out in the 80s. It was like this clear beer. It was like I think it was like clear, like sweet kind of like it wasn't like a like a like a wine spritzer kind of drink. but it was terrible.
Hmm.
It was terrible. Yeah, Bartles and James. It wasn't like Bartles and James. uh, just learned. Yep, yep, Peter. There you go.
There you go.
Uh, oh man. Okay, let's see here. A couple more, and then we'll wrap it up. Walked into 400 houses in the past year of work. Only met one person, an old timer who was into watches, wearing a vintage Rolex. He gave me a Rolex book. I posted the story in HT. So cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Huh.
The King of Canada needs to fix the IT in his country. So I promise you, Wilson, in my first 100 days as King of Canada, that will be in my agenda. I just have to get up there and start ruling. Uh, Dan, my friend was going to get married in a G-Shock with a G-Shock on, but I bought him an Orient. That's a good friend, Dan. Well, I mean, G-Shocks are great too, but you know.
I got married in a smartwatch. I'm sad now.
So, I mean, I guess it's no surprise. I mean, we're talking about on Friday. I got, well, that first marriage, I got married with that Tourneau.
Yes. Yeah, you beat me there.
Yeah, yeah. I pretty much burned all pictures of that. But I mean, there was a picture of me with like flashing the Tourneau like this. Like I was like, my buddy took a picture. It was just, it was hearkening to some of the darker days of Bobby Legs. Um, but we all got through it. We all got through
You're still
it.
here.
Zima was in the mid-90s. It was a choice of most high schools. I think so. I think you're right because it was so new. Like, you know, us high school kids, we were always trying to buck the trend and get something that we thought that could fool our folks. Ah, it's just Zima. Um, Neo Vintage Gotham. Yeah, thanks, Wilson. So stop it. Stop it. Sanjay, so what do you got what do you got going on this week, man? Do you have anything planned for
um,
the Engineer Wannabe channel?
nope, nothing planned. I may do a video on the 34 millimeter Seiko Pressages.
Yeah.
You know, they're designated as ladies' watches, but
Mm-hmm.
I think they look really good on guys with smaller wrists. They don't look like ladies' watches, so
Yeah.
I was thinking of because yeah, my wife has one, and I was thinking of just doing a video on that.
Did you gift that to her?
I did, yes. Yep.
Excellent.
She never wears it.
Women.
So I wear it.
Yeah. What color is it again? Did you mention the color?
It's like it's called the Fuyugashiki. So it's a snowflake, the Seiko snowflake.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's got a snowflake dial.
Oh, I think I know the watch then. I
Yeah,
think I know the watch. Yeah, that's a nice looking watch, man.
it is.
And then
So
you have your stream on Saturdays, right?
yes, and the stream on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Any plans?
Probably a couple of videos coming this week. I have maybe a review coming on Tuesday. Yeah, a review coming on Tuesday. I'm trying to get a schedule, more consistent schedule with, you know, I do the streams on Friday and Saturday, and I'm trying to Sunday and maybe do a video on Tuesday and Saturday. You know, keep that going. I feel like I can do that. The kids are just the last like couple months have been really really difficult. You know, they just wear me out, man.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to I'm trying. Um, but man, I mean, like, you know, I know like the next week or so we're going to both be geeking out on our new watches, and you know, I'm so excited about this one. It just like reinvigorates the
Yeah.
hobby for me when I get something like this, you know, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
well, guys, please remember to catch Sanjay at the Engineer Wannabe YouTube channel and on Instagram at engineer_wannabe. And you know, guys, have a good one. Good seeing you tonight, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye, guys.